Good morning, everyone. It's currently around 9 a.m. Not the earliest morning, but I was working quite late yesterday. So yeah, sometimes I just prefer to wake up a little bit later because now I can get in a longer working day. As you can see, it is currently a very gloomy day here in Milan. You might even be able to see the rain right now. Yeah, a very gloomy day here in Milan, but it doesn't matter because we have a busy day ahead of us and we're going to do a bunch of meetings on Zoom and a bunch of deep work on our computer inside the apartment. So the weather does not really matter much. Now, the first thing we're gonna do this morning is to grab a cup of coffee because, again, I was working quite late last night and I just feel a little bit tired. So the very first thing we're gonna do is to grab a cup of coffee. Guys, we literally have a 360 view of all of Milan in this apartment. Over here we have the older side of Milan, and over there you can see we have some of the more modern buildings, some of the skyscrapers. Well, a skyscraper as you get in Europe, but it's just such a cool view. It's kind of a little bit of a New Yorker vibe in this apartment, to be honest. But I think the coffee is ready to brew. There we go. I'm gonna let that brew up, and while we do that, I'm gonna show you a little bit around. This is where I'm gonna be working today. I have my first meeting at 10, so that's in an hour. And before that, I'm gonna get a shower. Gonna try this Turkish hammam bath, which I'll just show you guys right now. It's a little bit like a sauna, but it's more a steam bath. You can actually get in here. Well, there we are. As you can see, there's the Turkish hammam right here, the steam bath. So we might try that today if we have time. And then of course I'm gonna meditate, which I do pretty much every single morning. And I was actually planning to do this up here on the outside because the weather's been absolutely amazing in Milan lately, but I don't think that we're gonna do it outside today. Definitely not, but might as well show you guys around. As you can see, we have a large outside area up here with some like TRX, I think they're called, the bands for working out. 360 view of Milan right here. We got a jacuzzi right here, and then a relaxing area over there, and actually got like a sky deck up here where you can see all of Milan. Once again, down here we can see down to the kitchen where the coffee should be ready right now. So let's go ahead and drink that coffee and get moving with the day. Coffee machine just had to do me dirty, didn't it? Guys, coffee's ready. It spilled everywhere because the cup was way too small. We got that fixed, and what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna turn the steam bath on just so it's ready for when we're ready. So you do like this, and then you just close it. Hopefully that's enough. We'll give that 5 minutes and see if it gets very steamy in there. While we do that, I'm gonna finish my coffee and meditate. Now, as you can see, the Turkish bath is starting to look nice and steamy. One more thing I just wanted to say before I jump in there is what I usually like to do while I meditate for the first couple of minutes is, first of all, read my daily plan through. So the list of things that I'm gonna do during the day, I read that through at the beginning of my meditation because I just feel like it prepares me and sets me up for all of those things. It like prepares my mind, so there's actually gonna be no way that I'm not gonna do those things. So that's the first thing I do when I start my meditation. The second thing is something I definitely would recommend to anyone, but that I haven't heard anyone talk about, is I have a list of things that are such kind of character traits in which I want my character, my own person, to move towards, okay? Directions in which I want myself to develop towards. And so I have around 10 points written down, and these points, they just consist of a headline and then 3 descriptive lines beneath that headline, which are pretty private to me, so I'm not gonna share them because they're private character traits in which I want my own person and character to move towards. But by reading those through every morning before I start my meditation, reading them through and then meditating kind of on top of those things, I feel like automatically as a person, you start developing towards your aspiration and towards these directions in which you want your character to develop. So if you haven't already tried that, you probably haven't, because I haven't heard anyone talk about this. Write down a list of 5 to 10 points, which are character traits, directions in which you would like to see your own person move towards and develop towards. Write 5 to 10 points down and then read them every morning before you start your meditation, and then complete your 15 to 20 minute meditation on top of that. And I guarantee that you will inevitably start to see your character developing in the direction that you would like for it to develop in. So I'm gonna jump into Turkish bath now, grab a shower after that, and then it's gonna be perfect timing for my 10 a.m. meeting. So I'll see you after that. All right, guys, Turkish bath was absolutely fire. There was even a shower in there, but it took a little bit longer than I expected. So the meeting starts in 3 minutes. So I better get dressed for that. Yes, that's actually a very good question. And it's something I've been wanting to clear up for a while. So obviously since the iOS 14.5 update, which I warned you guys about, around a month ago, we have seen less attributed sales in the ads manager. But when we go look at your Shopify dashboard, we see actually not even just the same amount of sales, but since the release of the 14.5 update, we've actually seen a 5 to 10% increase in sales by looking at your Shopify dashboard. So obviously that's a clear indicator that sales haven't really decreased since the update has come out. And in all honesty, in all transparency, for I'd say around 60% of our clients, we have seen a slight decrease in sales and ads performance since the release of iOS 14.5. But you guys seem to be in the green field right now. You seem to be quite safe because, as I said, your sales have increased 5 to 10% after the release of the update. Okay, what I'm saying is, even so, we're seeing around 20% less attributed sales in the ads manager at the moment. We have a clear indicator that our ads are still performing very, very well. So that's just something I've been explaining to pretty much every single one of our clients, also the ones that have seen a slight decrease in sales. But as I said, you guys are pretty much in the safe at the moment, and we're not seeing decreased ads performance for you guys. We're only seeing a decrease in the attributed sales, which is obviously due to less tracking possibilities with the release of iOS 14.5. But at the moment, there's absolutely nothing to be worried about. And of course, we will let you know if we see a decrease, because then we'll find a solution to that. All right, so I just finished up the meeting. It's around 10:30 now. It's quite a short client meeting. What I'm gonna do now is grab another coffee because I need that. But before we do that, I actually wanna show you how my meeting setup works, because even though I previously might have showed this briefly, I get a lot of questions as to how I conduct my Zoom meetings with such high quality. So as you can see by looking on my computer right now, this is how my webcam setup looks. And excuse me, I know the screen is very smudgy, but this is how my screen looks. This is how my camera looks when I have Zoom meetings. Now, obviously you can see this is quite a lot better than most webcams, and that's because I've actually connected my Sony A7 over here with this Camlink cable. Goes into the camera, and then actually that functions as my webcam. And then I have my Yeti microphone connected here. And so this one, this setup is pretty much the best Zoom setup anyone could have. And it just means that I have incredibly high quality on my Zoom meetings, which is obviously good when you're talking to a client. You want to seem professional and you want to seem like you know exactly what you're doing. So as I was saying, I'm going to grab another coffee right now. And some of you might be wondering, well, what about breakfast? It's 10:30 right now. You still haven't eaten anything. And that's actually because I like to wait to have my first meal until around 12 or 1, because I feel I work better in the morning before I've eaten anything. As soon as I get some food in my stomach, I get a little bit relaxed and I need at least 30 minutes to just chill down and digest my food. So I always want to have a deep work block of at least 1.5 hours before I eat anything, just so I can crunch all of the most strenuous work in the morning. All right, so I'm gonna grab another coffee, gonna sit down and do a very intense work block for 1.5 hours. So guys, as you can see, it is now 12:40, and at this point I've worked for well over an hour and a half. I've gotten some very good work done in a state of deep work focus with some binaural beats and also just some music, some very good music, as you can probably see. Now, as I was saying, I've gotten some very good work done, and at this point I'm starting to get quite hungry. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is order some food, and while I wait for that food to arrive, I'm gonna sit over there once again and I'm gonna record a couple of demo videos where I just demonstrate some of the systems that we have at my agency, Stage Digital. Now, some of you probably know that this is our reporting system that takes all of the data and all the results that we create with our Facebook and Instagram campaigns and automatically turns them into this beautiful presentation that we can share with our clients. Now, the system comes in a couple of different variations. Then, of course, we have the Stage Digital website, which is the website of my agency that most of you have probably seen before. Now, what we've actually gone ahead and done is that we've turned the website into another system, which we call the Stage Digital Seamless Website System. Now, what our website system does is it allows all members of the Academy to copy and paste the website and turn it into their own, obviously with their own logo, their own colors and everything. Here's just a couple examples of websites that are built using the Stage Digital Seamless Website System. So essentially, any member of the Academy can copy and paste the Stage Digital website and make it their own, add their own touches to it, add their own text to it, but they have the entire structure and everything they need to make an amazing looking agency website that just works, all right? Then we have our pricing system, which allows you to calculate the exact price you're gonna charge any client within a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes. And then we have our accounting system with, just a demo system with some demo data in it, just some random data. As you can see, you can plot in all of your revenue and your expenses separated for every single month. So we have January, February, March. And then once you plot in all of those things, it automatically creates the annual overview down here. And with the annual overview, you can see month to month, what went well, what didn't go so well. You can see a chart, so you can see your yearly growth from month to month. And then this one will fill up a bar for each 20K that you make. So once you make your first 100K with your revenue with your agency, all of these 5 bars will be filled. Then we have our onboarding system, which is actually an add-on to the website system, which is a 3-step onboarding system that just takes any new client that you onboard onto the system and it takes them through the entire onboarding. So it's a very easy way to onboard clients. So that was just to show you guys a couple. Actually, these are not even all of the systems that we have at Stage Digital, but these are some of the systems that we have at my agency and that all the members of the Academy get access to once they're inside of the Academy. So as said, I'm gonna sit down, record a couple of demo videos of these systems, put them up on the website. And while I do that, I'll be waiting for my food. So hopefully the timing will be quite good. Guys, I finally received my lunch, but if you look at the time, it is almost 3:30 right now. So I'm gonna bring this right now and I'm absolutely starving. Obviously I didn't even have breakfast yet and I had no lunch. So yeah, I've just been grinding all day. These system demos that I've been recording, they took a little bit longer than expected, but they turned out great in the end. So I'm very satisfied with the result. And obviously I don't mind spending a little extra time when they turn out that well. So yeah, I'm finally gonna grab some sushi of proper quality, get a bite to eat, and then I'm gonna continue work afterwards. So yeah, the grind continues. I love this lifestyle, you know, for us entrepreneurs, I think work and progress is really what makes us happy. So everyone, actually, I'm just gonna close this down so it doesn't distract me. So everyone, we're approaching the end of the day. It is now 18:45, so 6:45 in the evening. Since last time we spoke, I've done a bunch of work, had a couple meetings, well, 2 meetings in fact. And one of the meetings was with my new media buyer back in Copenhagen. I've hired a new media buyer kind of on trial basis. Not that he's not getting paid for his work, but a trial basis in the sense that he's going to start off with one of my Danish clients. And if I like the way we're cooperating and the results he's delivering, then I'll put him responsible for some more of my clients. I'm sorry, I can see I was getting a call. Doesn't really matter much. Nevertheless, I had a call with him and it's already going quite well with the one client I've put him on. We're delivering quite a good ROI already and seeing some great results. And I like the way he's communicating not only with me, but also with the client. Now, I just thought that I'd sit down and talk for a bit because this is something I used to do previously, you know, actually 1 to 2 years ago, a lot on this channel. And then for me, like in terms of life and business, everything has just accelerated. And at certain times, I haven't been so sure about how many details I've wanted to share on YouTube. But to be honest, I know how much I appreciate when others are transparent. And so I want to be transparent with you guys and tell you everything that's going on. Because I know there are so many young entrepreneurs out there that need to hear things the way they are and just need to hear the reality sometimes. And I don't mean that in a negative sense. I mean, I'm so grateful for the way my life is evolving and has evolved throughout the past 2 years. I just mean it's great for others, you know, aspiring to be successful to hear how reality is. And not in a tough sense, just to hear what goes on out there. And so, yeah, as those of you who know me well might know, I've decided to move to Milan actually. I'm in Milano right now in Italy. Um, Now, those of you who know my story would know that I'm just going to give you the rundown. So, 4 years ago, my family moved here to Milan. And when I say my family, I mean my dad, my stepmom, and my two sisters, okay, my two little sisters. Now, I moved with them 4 years ago and I stayed here for about 8 months. But at the time, I really just was not ready to live here because for me, the young Italians that were my age, so I was 15, 16, they were very immature and the culture was just so different that I just couldn't align with it. And I just wanted to go back to Copenhagen and spend some of my youth there and have some fun, right? So yeah, I moved back to Copenhagen and, you know, I didn't really have any money saved up. I didn't have much going for me. I experimented with some online businesses. I had done a little bit of drop shipping back then 4 years ago and I'd made some money, saved up a little bit, but not nearly enough to get an apartment or to live on my own, right? So I had to figure out a solution on how I could come back to Copenhagen because I wasn't just going to rent an apartment and do business. I just wasn't at that level yet. So what I did was I moved into a boarding school around 30, 40 minutes outside of Copenhagen. And quickly I realized, you know, in this boarding school, there was also a traditional high school. Okay, so quickly, you know, actually immediately after moving in there, I realized boarding school is not something for me and traditional high school is definitely not something for me either. But I kept my grades pretty decent and I did the work I had to. But 3 weeks, or like already 3 weeks after starting in the boarding school, I decided, you know, I have to start something. I have to make my own money if I'm gonna do something independent. And that's why I started to start my social media marketing agency. And yeah, 3 weeks later, I signed my first client, as many of you guys know, on a $5,400 deal. And then it just went uphill from there, signing more and more clients and getting more and more consistent revenue to a point where, you know, I set a goal. I was not going to drop out of high school before I was making, you know, I have to translate the currency, but roughly $15,000 to $20,000 in monthly reoccurring revenue. That's what I wanted to hit before I would like permanently drop out of high school. And when I hit that goal, I dropped out, didn't sweat it, didn't regret it, didn't think about it twice because I knew that it was right, okay? I knew that I wasn't going to use high school for anything. And in my opinion, high school is only worth something if you're going to university. And university is not only worth something if you're going to get a great job, because university can teach you a lot of good things. But if you're not going to university, then I don't see much point in going to high school, because the honest truth is that you do not learn a lot there. You go there for diploma. University is different. You can learn a lot there, and you can even you can even form your own path in university. You get your bachelor's degree, then you get your master's. And then if you're very prominent and if you aspire in your field and you do well, you can write an independent PhD on your own subject and actually do some valuable research that might benefit someone, right? So I'm a big supporter of university and going that route. But if you're not going that route, then I don't see any point in going to high school, okay? And I knew that formal traditional education was just not something for me, even though sometimes I even look up to people who have, you know, great university degrees and who are very, very clever people. Sometimes, you know, these are the kind of people I can have the best conversations with and the most inspirational conversations with. I just knew personally that it was not the route I was gonna go. And so, as I said, I set a goal, and when I hit that goal, I decided to drop out of high school, and I never looked back. And I can tell you with 100% certainty that I'm never going to go to high school again. Okay, I know that for a fact. My businesses are doing very, very well, and I could not be happier with what I do. Okay, now coming back to the subject, which is me moving to Milan again, right? Why did I move back to Copenhagen? Why am I now returning to Milan? Well, you see, I had some very good years in Copenhagen. After the boarding school, I moved into the city, and I had some very good years there. I was growing my agency, growing my business, and it was all very fun. You know, I was with my good old friends. But, you know, especially throughout the last few months, there was really something that was bothering me about Copenhagen, about the culture. For me, and I know this is gonna be a little bit slightly controversial. Okay, first of all, know that I've grown up and I've lived in Copenhagen my whole life. I love the city. You know, it's a great city, and there's a lot of beautiful things about the Danish culture. But for me, there are also some things that I don't particularly like about the culture. For example, I don't feel like entrepreneurship and success is celebrated in anywhere form. Okay, there's a very, very tight knit community of these entrepreneurs and successful people, and they celebrate each other. But except for that, the overall culture in Denmark is very like this. Okay, and if you try to be like this, people will tell you, why can't you just be normal? This is what you feel every single day as someone who's trying to do more. Okay, because, and this is not just something I'm sitting and making up, you know, we have a fairly socialist structure in Denmark. And this has resulted in an ecosystem and in a society that does incredibly well economically. You know, we have an incredible economy. If you look at all the charts, like we're doing very, very well as a country, financially and logistically. Like there's a lot of just logistics that just work in Denmark. You know, for example, here in Milan, if you want to just hypothetically, you know, well, as an example, if you want to get a COVID test done, first of all, it's 150 euros. Secondly, you have to take, you know, a cab 30 minutes outside of the city. Then you have to wait 2 days for the result. You know, it's the infrastructure is a little bit more complicated, a little bit more like a maze. Whereas in Denmark, things like these work amazing, right? You just go down, you don't even have to book a time, just go down, you have a COVID test done, and you have the result in 30 minutes, right? Now, I know, of course, there's a difference between quick test and PCR. What I'm saying is there's a lot of things about actually, I'm wondering right now if the YouTube algorithm will trigger me saying those words. I'm probably gonna beep out or cut out those words because you can't say anything nowadays. Nevertheless, what I'm saying is there's a lot of infrastructural things that work great in Denmark and in Copenhagen especially. But what really started to bother me was this culture of don't try and be anyone. Don't try and do more than others. And the Danish, they have a word for this. It's an unwritten law. So it's not a law, but it's an unwritten law, which we call janteloven, the Jante law. I don't know what's called in English. But essentially the law is just don't try and be anyone. Don't try and be better than anyone. Don't think that you are better than anyone. And I can see the beauty in this. I can see the beauty in a fairly socialist society where everyone is here and there's minimal equality. Of course, there's always going to be some inequality wherever you live, but the inequality in Denmark is far smaller than the inequality you find, for example, here in Italy. But for me, you lack some variation, you know, because when everyone is at the same level, you don't get interesting dynamics. So everyone you meet, for me in Copenhagen, is the same. You don't meet particular people because we're all the same. Whereas here, even though the infrastructure doesn't work better, the economy is definitely not better here. You know, I just like the energy here. I like the diversity I find here. I go into the street and I find people of all levels and aspirations and ambitions, and it creates a diversity that makes people strive to do more. And this is what I've been searching for, and this is what I could never find in Denmark or in Copenhagen. I could never find this diversity and this overall inspiration and this celebration of people who do more, okay? And so if I just wanted to make the maximum amount of money, and if I just wanted to meet the most ambitious people, then I should probably move to Dubai, okay, and pay zero tax, okay? But that's not what I'm interested in, because it's not a culture that I could align with. I still want to be, you know, in a fairly old and traditional culture where I like the energy and the traditions that are there. And this I know for a fact I wouldn't be able to find in Dubai. What I like so much about Italy is it's traditional. There are a lot of great traditions here. Of course, the weather is amazing, the food's amazing, and the energy is amazing. The diversity is there. You go into the street, have a drink with someone, have a dinner with someone. You know, I moved here a week ago and I've already met, I'd say, at least 5 interesting friends, okay? Last night I had 2 friends over. One of them is 25 years old and running a company here in Italy with 300 employees, doing 40 million euros in annual revenue. It's just like, for the past 3 years in Copenhagen, I haven't met anyone interesting like that. I just haven't. I've been here for a week and I've met 5 interesting people already, had dinners, lunches with, you know, lunch meetings with just networking, right? And that's what I've been able to find here. And that's why I've moved here. Now you might be thinking, what's my living situation? Well, let me go ahead and break it down to you. As you see, I'm currently in quite a nice apartment. This is not a permanent apartment. I've just rented it for a little while. I'll be getting my permanent apartment mid-July. I already know which apartment I'm going to live in, so you guys are going to see plenty of that and plenty of videos from there. But it's not ready to move in until the middle of July. So until then, I'm probably going to be living a little bit of everywhere, renting different Airbnbs, different apartments, staying, you know, wherever I want, hotels, etc. So until then, I'm just in a little bit of a temporary phase where I can do whatever I want. And then, as I said, in the middle of July, I think this is the 13th or 15th of July. The 15th of July is my birthday, by the way. I think I'm actually might be getting the apartment on my birthday. We'll see. Or the 13th. We'll see, and you guys will see a lot of that apartment. But essentially, you know, I don't want to make this video 20 minutes long. I just wanted to break down my decision and tell you guys why I've decided to move to Italy, and the fact that I think Denmark and Copenhagen is a beautiful country, it's a beautiful city in a lot of ways. The culture works incredibly well. It's a society and it's an economy that works incredibly well, but I just could not align with it anymore. I couldn't align with this culture of everyone just being here, okay? It's beautiful in a lot of senses, but long term, it would never bring happiness to me, and I have some serious doubt whether it'll ever bring long-term happiness to a society, even though I know research suggests and all the magazines suggest that Denmark is one of the happiest countries alive, well, on earth, but it's not what I see when I'm in the street. I'm sorry. So yeah, if you disagree with that, I'd be very, very interested, you know, especially if you're a Danish person, I'd be very, very interested to hear your opinion in the comments, and we'll take it from there. Don't take this as a controversial opinion or hate in any way. As I said, I love Denmark in so many ways. This is just how I feel at the moment. This is why I've decided to move away from Denmark and into Italy, at least for now. Who knows where I'll be in 5 years. All I know is that I'll be running my agency and taking that to new heights and implementing, of course, at some point, new services and expanding, hiring more employees. I hire 3 people in 3 different countries. All our meetings are on Zoom, and I just enjoy this business model so much. So guys, that's gonna be it for this video that started out as a vlog, ended off as a little bit of just me updating on my life situation. I really sincerely hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and except for that, I wish you a lovely day, evening, whatever time you might be watching this. I never asked for this, but if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a like and even consider subscribing to my channel if you're not already. Now that I'm started, turn on the post notifications, right? Now we got everything out of the way. Have a great day, guys.